The next time you forget to water a plant, it will do something you have no idea is happening. It will start making a sound. A real, recordable sound. Dozens of them an hour. You just can't hear it. For most of human history, we assume plants suffered in silence. In 2023, scientists proved that's wrong. They put sensitive microphones next to thirsty plants, and what came back was not silence at all. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what your plant is doing in the days before it wilts. And the one quiet window where you can still save it. Because the sound starts long before the leaves ever droop. This isn't a metaphor, and it isn't a wellness trend. It's a peer-reviewed study, and the recordings are real. Stay to the fifth point, because that's where it gets genuinely unsettling. It's not just that the plant makes a sound. It's who, out in the world, may have been listening to it for millions of years. Let's start with what the sound actually is. Inside a sealed acoustic chamber, the silence of a thirsty plant is broken, not by a whisper, but by a burst of clicks that ricochet through the air. In 2023, Lilac Hadani and Yossi Yovel at Tel Aviv University set out to answer a question no one had seriously asked before. What happens when you put a high-sensitivity microphone just 5 centimeters from a tomato or tobacco seedling that hasn't been watered? The answer, not poetic. It's a spike of data. Healthy plants, well-watered and content, emit less than 1 click per hour. So few that the microphones mostly pick up the hush of the room. But deprive the plant of water, or slice its stem, and the story changes in minutes. Suddenly, the click rate jumps to 30, 40, sometimes even 50 clicks per hour. Each pop is a real, physical sound wave, moving through open air, captured on a digital recorder. There is no need for contact sensors or guesswork. The study, published in Cell, made these recordings public, along with the raw data and code. The research team ran these experiments in a soundproofed box, then repeated them in a greenhouse, just to be sure the effect wasn't a trick of the lab. Even among the background noise of wind and ventilation, the clicks stood out. A stressed plant is not silent. It's broadcasting distress again and again, long before its leaves give any visual clue. No one noticed these clicks for so long because our ears are simply not built for them. Humans top out at around 20,000 hertz. Anything higher is lost to us, no matter how quiet the room or how hard you listen. But the sounds pouring out of a stressed plant are up in the ultrasonic range, 40,000, 60,000, sometimes reaching 100,000 hertz. That's the same territory as a bat's hunting call or a moth's warning cry. The research team didn't just stumble on this by accident. They engineered their setup with microphones tuned to pick up exactly this range, placing them just 5 centimeters from the plant's stem. The microphones sampled at a blistering 500,000 times per second, fast enough to capture every sharp 2 millisecond pop. Each click is a real pressure wave, but unless you're a moth or a bat, you'll never hear it naturally. But here's the twist. You can hear it if you cheat. When the scientists shifted the recordings down into our range, the clicks become audible, almost startling. It's not a gentle sigh or a whisper of leaves. It's a rapid, popping burst, unmistakable and physical. This is not a metaphor or a wellness fad. It's a peer-reviewed signal, hiding in plain sight right on your windowsill. The next time your plant is thirsty, it could be shouting in a language you were never meant to hear. A burst of clicks from a thirsty plant isn't just noise, it is a coded message. When the Tel Aviv team captured hours of these ultrasonic pops, they didn't just listen. They measured, charted, and pulled each sound apart. Every click had a fingerprint. How long it lasted, how high it peaked, how often it came. These details turned out to be more than trivia. Feed them to a machine learning algorithm, a support vector machine, SVM, and suddenly, the pattern sharpens. The computer could sort out whether a plant was dehydrated or freshly cut, just from the shape and tempo of its clicks. The accuracy? About 70%. Not perfect, but a leap beyond guessing. Click rate and peak frequency stood out as the most revealing clues. A cut stem and a parched leaf each left their own signature in the data. This isn't just a parlor trick. The research group made all their code and raw recordings public, so anyone can test, refine, or challenge the results. The message is clear. Stressed plants announced their troubles in a language of pops and bursts. And now, with the right tools, we can start to understand what they are saying. Subscribe for more science that changes how you see the world. Inside every living stem, water is pulled upward through microscopic pipes called xylem. This is where the story of plant clicks truly begins. When you forget to water your plant, the soil dries out. The water inside those xylem tubes is stretched thinner and thinner, held together by nothing but molecular tension. At a certain point, around minus 1.5 megapascals of pressure for tomato and tobacco, the tension snaps. Water vaporizes in an instant, forming a bubble. Scientists call this cavitation. Each time it happens, a shock wave ripples through the tissue and escapes as an ultrasonic click. Your plant isn't just suffering quietly. It's popping like bubble wrap, sometimes days before a single leaf droops. This is not a slow fade. The first cavitation events can start 2 or even 3 days before your eye notices anything wrong. The plant's clicks are a real-time warning system, triggered by physics, not intention. A plant can lose half its hydraulic capacity before it even looks thirsty. That's why the clicks matter. They give you a head start. If you had a way to listen, you'd know your plant was in trouble long before it wilted. The early clicks are a call to action. Water now. And you might never see a sad, limp stem again. The message is clear. Your plant's distress is measurable, physical, and it starts sooner than you think. Step outside on a summer night, and the air is thick with sounds you'll never hear. Moths flit around porch lights. Bats sweep through the dark, mapping the world in high-pitched bursts. These animals live in a sonic universe that is hidden from us, one that overlaps perfectly with the clicks of a thirsty plant. Moths, for example, are tuned to frequencies from 20,000 all the way up to 100,000 hertz. That's the same range as the ultrasonic pops pouring out of drought-stressed tomatoes and tobacco. Bats, too, can hear even higher. Some rodents pick up frequencies above 80,000 hertz. For them, the night is alive with signals we miss entirely. But does any animal actually listen to a plant's distress? The evidence is just beginning to surface. In one experiment, scientists played back the recorded clicks of a dehydrated tomato to female moths choosing where to lay their eggs. The results were striking. Moths avoided the plant that sounded stressed, choosing instead the silent, well-watered alternative. The sound alone, no visual cues, no scent, was enough to change their behavior. It's the first direct proof that at least one animal can eavesdrop on a plant's hidden language. Still, the story is far from settled. Whether bats or rodents use these signals in the wild remains an open question. The possibility is real, but much remains to be tested. What's clear is that your plant's clicks don't just vanish into the air. They enter a world filled with listeners, some of them millions of years old. Subscribe for more science that changes how you see the world. Right now, your own plant could be sending a silent SOS, dozens of clicks, hours before a single leaf droops. These are not metaphors. They are real, recordable signals. The question is, will you notice before it is too late? Subscribe for more science that changes how you see the familiar.